Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Impact Hardcore Justice review for the 10th of April 2021. They did a network preview for their streaming service yesterday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm not a fan of these. I've mentioned that before. I think it's actually kind of sad that so many promotions feel the need to be competitive on WrestleMania weekend unless you're an independent promotion trying to get seen. But national companies should have the courage and strength to do their own thing at their own time. It actually makes the national companies look weaker, in my personal opinion, when they piggyback on something like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and the like. Anyway, we open with Josh Alexander and Petey Williams defeating X Division champion Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, and TJP and Fallah Bahh. Petey Williams coming back is a bit of a surprise, kind of cool for those that are longtime TNA Impact fans. Alexander and Bahh start. They both try shoulder tackles. Bahh obviously has the power advantage and knocks his man to the canvas. TJP and Williams tag in. Williams and TJP do a bunch of mat work and some ranas along the way. Williams gets offense. Austin tags himself in. Bahh tags in. TJP was when TJP's in trouble, and then Austin and Fulton take turns cutting off the ring, allowing Bahh to make the tag. Williams tags himself back in, slingshot codebreaker on Austin, followed by a deadlift German suplex. From Alexander, Austin ends up tagging in Fulton, who goes on a crazy nut deal here. Alexander hits a few big moves. Austin tags back in, and Alexander is down, allowing him to do the helicopter leg drop. TJP gets a hot tag from Alexander and clears house. Williams then goes in and tries an assisted destroyer on Austin. The destroyer means a whole lot less when a guy like Bad Bunny can do it, but that's just my opinion. Fulton breaks it up and hits a double choke slam on Williams, and Alexander referee kind of loses who's legal in the ring, as do most people watching at home. Williams nails TJP with a destroyer. Alexander applies ankle lock on Bahh, and Bahh taps out. Not a match that I'm a fan of, and I think, honestly, Austin's wasted in these multi-person matches, but that's just me. Shura defeats Hernandez. Shura tries to take the fight to the corner, and that doesn't work. Hernandez comes out and tosses a chair into the ring. I guess they were doing a kind of a no-holds-barred hardcore sort of thing here. Shura goes to the outside and hits a running boot off the apron. Shura tosses some more chairs in. Hernandez recovers. Shura sets up a chair between the turnbuckles. Hernandez slid back in and begins beating down Shura. Shura hits a spine buster, and Hernandez goes to the outside. Hernandez is in pain. Litters the ring with more chairs. Shura taps him in the corner, and then perches him on the top rope, suplexes him into a pile of chairs. Shura attempts a pin attempt, but Hernandez kicks out, and Reggie hit the ring, nails Hernandez in the head with a chair, allowing Shura to get the pin and win. Especially with the fact that the main event is an all-hardcore trash match. I don't understand the benefit of doing this. Swinger's Palace is up next. Matt Cardona makes fun of Swinger for never having an action figure, despite how long he's been in the business. Tommy Dreamer says the two will compete in a Great American Bash match tonight. I think this is just goofy. Gallows versus Black Taurus. Taurus charges Gallows, misses a bunch of times. Gallows hits a bunch of punches in the corner and continues to bang on Taurus for a good bit. Gallows applies a chinlock and starts to wear down Taurus. Taurus gains momentum a few times but couldn't shake off the assault here. Match is slow. Gallows is keeping Taurus grounded. Gallows throws Taurus into the buckle, and hits a cutter on Torres hits a cutter on Gallows. Anderson jumps up in the apron. Torres was distracted. Gallows takes advantage and hits a power bomb for the win. Honestly, I think this is a misuse of Gallows and Anderson, and so far this show is looking really weak. Matt Cardona defeats Johnny Swinger in a Great American Bash match. I don't think we really need more gimmicks. There are a bunch of crates around all four turnbuckles. Um, the announcers really don't talk about how things are won, so that's kind of goofy. Swinger goes for one of the crates early. Cardona stops him. Swinger pulls out a picture of Scott Hall and tucks it in a singlet. I don't know why. Swinger sends Cardona into the outside and taunts him while going for the second crate. The second crate, there's a mousetrap in it, and it snapped on Swinger's fingers. This is kind of, I guess, hardcore-ish. Cardona takes advantage of the situation and hits a few clotheslines. Swinger goes to the third crate, finds Brass Knuckles, tries to hit Cardona, and then Swinger, with the always ready for the pinfall, gets a win here. I don't know. Or Matt Cardona hits the always ready. Anyway, I don't know. This feels so flat. Then we go to Sami Callihan, who's a guy I don't particularly care for anyway, against Sam Beadle. Callihan claims that he's brought one thing that Trey Miguel is lacking out of him, and he issues an open challenge. Sam Beadle comes out. He gets shut down really quickly. They do the finger spot with the finger cracking and biting, and then Callihan throws Beal to the outside, back body drop, and then Beal is about to be counted out. He rolls in the ring. Beal tries to catch Callihan in Schoolboy, but shut down, and he gets hit with a package pile driver, and of course Callihan wins. Jake Something defeats Brian Myers in a hardcore blindfold match. And basically, both guys struggle to find each other. Rick Martel and Jake Roberts. This is not. Myers swings a trash can lid and happens to hit something with it. Myers tries to pin something, and then something gets back up and is holds Myers by the wrists, and then there's a bunch of clotheslines. Something gets hit in the jaw. Cardona hits the ring with a crate from earlier, sliding it to Something, who hits Myers with it, following a black hole slam for the win. Gosh, this is just a sludge of a show. Tennille Dashwood defeats Rosemary, Alicia Havoc, Su Yung, and Jordana Grace in a number one contenders weapons match. Why do we need weapons for these women? Oh yeah, it's hardcore justice, and we're trying to pretend ECW is still around 21 years later. Susan comes out with her entrance, but the Su Yung music hits instead. I guess this is a good touch, since we're trying to do the hardcore thing. Young attacked. And then ring is cleared pretty quick. Women are pairing off Alicia Staples Dashwood in the backside, while Grace and Havoc are going at it. Alicia introduces Trash Can to the ring. We've already seen one of those, so why not see another? And then does this to her own detriment. Grace slams her into Young, and Rosemary introduces a rope that both use to clothesline Havoc. Rosemary spears Young and finds some thumbtacks. Alicia DDT'd Rosemary onto the thumbtacks. Grace and Havoc get in the ring, and Nevaeh is down and blows powder in Havoc's face. This is a cluster mess. Grace hits the Vader bomb and goes for the pin. Caleb Connolly pulls Grace out and super kicks her. Dashwood runs in and steals the pin for the win. Backward step for the women's division all the way around, at least in my opinion. Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo defeated Jazz in a career-ending match. Wonder where they're going with this, if this is actually her final match. It's good that Purrazzo's the one to end it. Jazz pushes Purrazzo into the corner, hits a few forearms, and sends her to the outside of the ring. Purrazzo fights back, sends Jazz to the canvas with a clothesline. Purrazzo stays on the arm. Jazz tries to make her way up. Purrazzo counters, keeps her grounded. Jazz is trapped on the bottom rope. Purrazzo takes advantage with a drop kick in the slide format, and then Jazz slides in, hits Purrazzo, immediately locks in her signature armbar. Jazz regains her bearings for a bit. Purrazzo hits a Samoan drop, and Jazz keeps things going and hits a DDT on a chair, which is pretty impressive looking. Jazz tries to continue to hit a bunch of big moves. Purrazzo hits the Queen's Gambit for the win and ends her career. No real fanfare in this. Then it's time, mercifully, for the show to be over. One more match. Main event, Violent by Design. Eric Young, Deaner, Rhino, and Joe Doring defeat Team Dreamer, Rich Swann, Willie Mack, Eddie Edwards, and Trey Miguel. Dreamers backstage before the match. Scott D'Amore says there'd be a replacement. One person from one person from each team starts, and every 3 minutes another person enters. Match cannot be won until everyone's entered. It's a War Game style match in a promotion that never did War Games, and it's lame because AEW is trying to do the same thing in less than a month. Anyway, and there's no cage, and there's no double ring, so it's just watered down junk. Edwards and Deaner begin Edwards control, and then there's a neck breaker from the top rope in the middle here. Rhino comes in, Rhino and Deaner double team Edwards for a while, and then they take turns choking him in the corner with a bunch of weapons. Then Willie Mack comes in, and he has chains around his neck. He hits the ring, and Mack and Edwards double team and hit Rhino with the chains. Mack brings out a toaster and places it between Deaner's legs and punches it, sending it into his groin. What a goofy spot. Anyway, Doring enters next and charges in changing the match. Mack is taken out. Violent by Design takes over. Swann makes his entrance, and he comes in with a street sign. Swann charges in the ring and starts swinging it quite violently. Team Dreamer takes over finally. Young enters with a hockey stick. Deaner is choking out Mack with the chain that he used earlier. Young works over Swann on the outside. Clock counts down for the final entrant, and Dreamer was attacked before the match. Miguel comes out and takes his place. Hoorah! Momentum of the match changes again. Miguel's presence makes a big difference. Rhino nails Swann, puts him through a table with a gore. Swann kicks out of this. Doring sets up the table on the outside and gets on the apron. Miguel dives off on top of Doring into the table. And then Mack and Deaner are in the ring. Deaner hits Mack with a trash can lid. Young gets spiked by a pile driver for the win for the babyfaces. This is by far the worst thing I've seen from Impact in a long while. I covered what amounted to about a 2-hour show in 15 minutes, and there's absolutely nothing here other than maybe, if you're a Jazz fan, the end of her career to see. Otherwise, it screamed, look at us, we're a wrestling promotion that's running on WrestleMania weekend. It was miserable, not worth watching. Anyway, we'll be back with Night 2 of WrestleMania tonight and a bunch of WCW Saturday Night reviews as well, uploaded this afternoon. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Take care.